What's good, guys? Today, the topic of interest is how to stop being too nice. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, what's wrong with being nice? It's good to be nice. If the whole world was nice, then the world would be a better place. And that actually couldn't be further from the truth. You've heard that quote said before that nice guys finish last. And it's true, that's just the way it is, man. When you're too nice, the world takes advantage of it. The world beats down those who are too nice. And that's just the way it is, human nature. Unpopular truth, but that's it. But what you must understand is that you don't want to be nice. What you want to learn to be is learn to be kind. Now, what's the difference between being nice and being kind? The difference is this, is that when you're nice, you're giving in hope that somebody's going to respond to you in a certain way. You're giving in hope to be like, to do things in hope that somebody will have a good opinion of you, or you do things in hope that because you've done something good for somebody else, they'll do something good for you in return. It's dependent on a response from somebody else. Whereas kindness comes from a place of strength, right? Kindness comes from a place where you're giving because that's just who you are, and you're not expecting a response or an end outcome from somebody else. You're giving because you want to. It's not dependent on somebody else's response. It's from a place of strength. That's what kindness is, and that's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to be kind, not nice. Because when we look at people who are too nice, or the behavior of people who are too nice, what the real problem is not necessarily the behavior, but it's the problem is the way they view themselves. It comes from the perception that they view themselves. And it sounds really crazy, but this is what it is. The thing is this, is it comes from the view that you don't believe that you, the way you are, is worthy of love. You believe that if you were to really express your true needs, if you were to behave the way that you really wanted to behave, people wouldn't love you and people would reject you, which is why you behave in a way that's always continuously trying to win the approval of other people, because you feel that if you become what you think they want you to be, then they will love you. In essence, you're rejecting your true self. And that sounds wild, but that's really what it is. At the core, that's the problem. So we need to learn to shift your self-perception. That's the real issue. Because there are two groups of people in this world. You got people who are unconscious winners, so people who naturally just win and do the right things and they get the results. And then you got people who are not unconscious winners, And I fell in that category. I was not an unconscious winner. I don't naturally do things to win. I've actually had to learn all this stuff, right? I got a couple natural things though. I got charm, buckets of it. But for the most part, like in this area, this is something that I've had to really learn and study in order to get right. So take it from me. So I'm going to highlight the signs that you're too nice. And then if you identify with two or more of these, then chances are you're too nice. I'm going to teach you how to undo all this. Okay? So I'm going to do my best. So let's begin. So what are the signs that you are too nice? So I've got my notepad here. So this is one of the first signs. That you try save people and fix people's problems, and it's often to the detriment of yourself, right? In essence, you're always setting yourself ablaze to keep other people warm, right? So it's kind of like this. Like, let's say there's somebody drowning in the water, and you see them and you're like, oh, I want to save them, and you jump in the water to try save them, only to discover that you cannot swim, right? You're trying to save people when you're in a position where you cannot save them. You're trying to help people when you're not in a position that you can help them. Think about this. Why do firefighters often tell you this? That when there's a fire and you're outside the house, why do they tell you not to run in the house and try save somebody who's in the fire? The reason they tell you that is because you're not equipped to do it. The firefighter has had all that training. He's got all the gear. He's in a position where he can help people. So I'm not telling you don't help people. I'm saying that's good, but only help people when you're in a position where you can actually help them, when you're in a position of strength. If you're not in a position where you can actually help somebody else, then you're a danger to everybody else. You're a danger to them and you're a danger to yourself. You're a liability. So that's the first sign. You're often trying to save people or fix people's problems, and it's often to the detriment of yourself. That's the first sign that you're too nice. Okay, the second sign that you're too nice is this, is that you say yes to things when you really want to say no. You just say yes to everything. Say yes, yes, sure, I'll do it. Yes, sure, I'll help you out. Sure, I'll help you with barbecue. Sure, I'll run Bible study. You say yes to all these things, and your life is led by other people's agendas, and it often leaves you feeling disempowered. So you want to do is you want to learn to say no to things. So that's going to come down later down the line, but this is a sign that you're too nice. You say yes to things when you want to say no. Okay, you feel like your life is out of control. The third sign is this: you often date people who need fixing, or you date people who have deep emotional problems. So the thing about when you're being too nice is you attract two types of people. You attract people who need fixing, who have deep emotional needs, and you link up with them and you merge with them, and you try like merge or fix their needs. You try become their hero, become their savior, become their crutch. You help them. All right, that's one sign. People who have complete deep emotional needs. Or you often tend to date people who are narcissistic. So people who are really selfish and will take complete advantage of you because you won't stand up for yourself, you won't stand your ground. So you tend to date either one of these two groups of people repetitively. That's often a sign. And another sign is that you often run from conflict, you run and avoid conflict. You do everything in your power to run and avoid conflict because you don't like the feeling of conflict. So you have this view of the world that if you're good and you're kind to everybody and you're sweet, then you will have no problems and everything will be fine. And you avoid conflict in little things, in all the little things. So it could be something as small as this. Let's say you go to a restaurant, okay, and you order a chicken burger. You want a chicken burger. And then the waiter comes and gives you a beef burger. Rather than you saying, oh, excuse me, I ordered the chicken burger, but you gave me the beef burger, you say nothing and you eat the beef burger anyway and you say, ah, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. Because the reason why you go along with just eating the beef burger, even though that's not what you stated what you wanted, is because you don't want to upset the waiter, you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, so you just don't want to rock the boat. You say nothing, and the whole point of conflict is this. Conflict can be a good thing. It's important that you're not afraid to run away from conflict, because the whole idea of actually dealing with conflict is not about you getting the end outcome that you want, but it's about you standing up for yourself and showing your mind that you're willing to stand up for your ground, teaching yourself through action that what you want is important. That's the most important thing. So you run away from conflict, you avoid conflict, you're always the person who's trying to keep the peace, right? And it's once again often to the detriment of yourself. Another sign. Okay, another sign is this, is that you make covert contracts with people. So when I say covert contracts, what I'm saying is that you don't explicitly express your needs to people. You don't express what you want. So naturally you do things for people, you give to people in hope that they're gonna meet your needs back. So you often give to people in the ways that you want them to give to you, in hope that they'll do the same and reciprocate. And that's just not how it works. And it's perfectly depicted in the picture of somebody who's in the friend zone. A guy's in the friend zone. It's that guy who you make friends with a girl, right? You never really want to be her friend, but you make friends with her because you want to date her. So you get close, you become a friend, you start doing things for her, you drive her everywhere, you buy her gifts, you do all those things for them. And then you wait up for the big day, the big crescendo, and you ask them out, and then they tell you no, I don't want to go out with you, right? You get upset and you get mad and you get resentful. The problem was you weren't explicit with what you wanted. You weren't explicit with your needs. You didn't go with the intention or with the energy of what you wanted. You hid your intentions, concealed them, and gave to that person in hope that they'll give you the response of romance and love with you. That's the problem. You're hiding your intentions. So you're making covert contracts. You're giving in hope that somebody's going to respond to you in a certain way, rather than just expressing your desires and your wants directly. You make covert contracts. Another sign is this, is that you do things to gain the approval of people. So it's not necessarily your behavior that's the problem, but it's the root cause of your behavior. You're doing things in hope to be seen, right? You're doing things in hope that somebody's gonna congratulate you and be like, ah, good job. Oh, thanks, Rick. I appreciate you getting me a coffee. You didn't get the coffee because you wanted to be kind. You got the coffee because you wanted the person to think well of you, right? There's a slight difference. The difference is motive, where it's really coming from. If it's coming from a place of validation, of trying to win somebody over, that's a problem. That's another sign. You do things to win the validation or the approval of others. Another sign is something that's really surprising. You explode into fits of rage. So once again, and this is surprising, but when you're really, really nice, because you suppress your true needs and your desires, what happens is that, once again, because you have that map of, if I give to people, they'll give back to me. So you give and give and give to people, and when they don't meet your needs in the way that you want them to, you get angry and you get abusive, you get aggressive, and you say horrible things, right? That's often a trait, and it's not a good trait to have, because once again, you're not expressing your needs directly, you're not communicating effectively. People aren't mind readers, but you just expect people to read your mind, right? That's a problem. Another sign is this, is that you're passive aggressive. So once again, so it links in with fits of rage. If you don't express your things through fits of rage, you're passive aggressive through little snarky comments, or through indirects, through little things like purposely arriving late, purposely like breaking promises to people. It's in little things, little passive aggressive behaviors, right? Because you're not expressing your needs directly. That's the problem. Okay, so these are some of the signs of speed if you're of you being too nice, and a lot of them link in hand. But if you identify yourself with more than two of those, then you are too nice, and you need to change the way that you perceive yourself and view yourself. So I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to teach you behaviors that can undo all this. Okay, so what can you do? So you must learn to be kind. So let's define kindness. So once again, I said that kindness is giving from a place of power, giving because you're not dependent on the response of somebody else. And what I've written down for kindness in my own definition is that is comes from a place of you learning to prioritize your needs and learning that you're responsible for meeting your own needs and meeting your own needs without violating the needs of others. So there's a way that you can be kind and graceful and meeting your needs without being violating other people's needs. Because oftentimes when people who are too nice try to diverge into the area of controlling their own life, you go to extremes where you're aggressive and you're like, I'll get my needs met. No, it's about learning to be kind and learning to meet your own needs in a way that doesn't violate the needs of others. Okay, so what can you do practically to stop being too nice? And this is the first behavior that you wanna adopt. And it's this is learning to say no to things. So learn to say no to everything. For fundamentally, if there's something that's not a hell yes, like I really, really want to do, say no. Period. When someone asks you, hey, you wanna go out for food on Thursday, whatever, just say no, I'm good, I've got other plans. Just say no. Learn to say no. And some of you guys may struggle to say no. So one other phrase that you can say is, let me get back to you. Just using that phrase, let me get back to you, gives you space away from the pressure, shall we say, of committing to it. And I say, let me get back to you. That gives you space, and it gives you the room to actually take control of your life and really decide whether or not you really want to do something or not. Because if you're continuously saying yes to things that you don't really want to do, what happens is that your life gets filled with the agenda of other people, and then you feel like your life is not really in control because you're not living for you, you're living for others, basically. Other people are benefiting from your inability to say no. So learn to say no. If you can't say no, then at least say this, let me get back to you. Learn to do that. Because the thing is this, right? You can often have this view, this perception that you need to save people, and the reality is this: that people actually don't need you to save them. People can save themselves. They're responsible for their own problems. And I learned this perfectly one time at my old workplace. I used to save people in the sense that whenever a manager will ask me to do shifts, I'll do shifts, I'll cover them. I'll be like, I don't really want to do it, but okay, I'll do it. And I'll cover people's shifts. Till I learned one day that there was one time where we were short on staff and we really needed somebody to come in, and the person called in sick and they're like, yeah, I'm not coming into work today. My workplace managed just fine without them. Just fine. And I thought, wait a minute. If they're able to manage with so few staff, then they don't necessarily need me to cover their shifts. So it's the same thing. When people ask you and say, please help me, they don't need your help. They'll be fine. They'll figure it out without you. We're trying to save them. So like I said, people don't need you as much as you think they do. So another point, learn to say no. Say no or say, let me get back to you. That's the first thing you can do. The second thing is this: notice the behavior you display when you're trying to win the approval of other people. Notice when you're doing it and see yourself doing it. And the two ways you can do this is, one, when you notice you're doing the behavior, stop doing it. So refrain from doing behavior that's with the aim of winning the validation of other people. So for example, let's say it's Instagram. You like posting pictures in hope that people are going to say, oh, how cool are you? If that's you, stop posting. For a period of time, just stop posting and then notice how it feels, and really, really purge yourself from that. Or another thing you can do, which sounds really crazy and completely against what I'm saying, is overindulge in that behavior. So when you notice you're doing things in hope of winning the approval of other people, either stop it or continuously do it, and do it over and over again with the purpose of trying to win the approval of other people. Become conscious of it, and do loads of it. It's really, really weird and backwards, but it will teach you. You'll notice the feelings of it, and later down the line, it will actually help you to stop displaying that kind of behavior, because you'll be really, really aware, hyper aware of it. So you can do one of two things: either refrain from it completely, or overindulge in it and do a lot of it consistently. And then just notice how you feel. It'll really help you. It sounds crazy, but it works. Okay, the third thing is this: learn to stand up for yourself. So don't avoid conflict. So no one likes the feelings of conflict. Nobody likes it. But if you feel that something's off, speak up. Speak up. And I don't want you to worry about having to use perfect execution in doing this, Just do it. The whole goal isn't that you get the end outcome that you want. The whole goal is that you're teaching yourself that you're willing to stand up for yourself. So even if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. Stand up for yourself. So I'm not gonna try to overload you with information of how to do it accurately and how to do it. Just do it. Literally, when you feel uncomfortable, speak up, because that's actually going to build your confidence, and it's going to build momentum, because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to change the perception that you hold of yourself, which is somebody who's not worthy of love. So if you're able to stand up for yourself, you teach yourself that what I want is important, my needs are important, I'm important, and I'm worthy of love. Just doing this alone will help you a lot. So start off with those three things that I've just said. Learn to say no. Stand up for yourself. And three, notice when you're doing things in hope of winning the validation of it. Just those three things will be enough to get you going, and then we can build from there. That's enough for now. That's the session of the day. But doing these three things will help you massively. It will change your self-perception. So that's the video of the day, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Take care, and we'll speak again soon. Goodbye.